What is up guys, Houndish here, and today we're going to jump in and talk about some stuff regarding Black Armory. The DLC has finally launched into Destiny 2, and in this video we've got a few things to round up. So we're going to speak about the new exotic quest. You may or may not have heard about this one, but we do have a few hints as to which exotic weapon we're actually going to get from the quest currently available in the game. We're also going to talk about secrets and runes hidden around the game inside of Black Armory. We'll speak about Ada's inventory, exactly how you can forge weapons, and how many will be available each week, including some new powerful drops in the game. We're also going to talk about the new title, a cheese for the 100k Nightfall, a hidden room in the tower, as well as some leaks regarding the Dawning and some of the upcoming quests and rewards for that. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. As always, if you do, a rating below super helps me out. But now let's get into it. So first up, of course, Black Armory is now live, and there's been a lot of different stuff being found and spoken about. One of the big things yesterday was that a new exotic quest was found, and if you haven't picked this one up yet, it's actually outside the Volunda Forge in the European Dead Zone, so you have to travel through the Cabal tunnels. And then when you get to where the forge would be, if you're facing it from the bridge on the left-hand side, you can drop down and pick up the new exotic quest from the crate inside of the cave. Of course, it speaks about us requiring a bunch of different locks, but there are a couple of hints towards what the weapon reward for this could actually be. So if you look in the new title, the Blacksmith for Black Armory, you can see a bunch of triumphs, and there are ones that list to get exotic kills at different forges. So you need to get kills with Limonarch at the Gafanan Forge, kills with Izanagi's Burden at the Izanami Forge, and we do have get kills with Jotun at the Volunda Forge. So there is some speculation that this will be the exotic reward for this first quest. We don't know exactly when it'll become available, but there is also another triumph right here. Forge all Black Armory weapon types in EDZ forges, and it does require you to complete 3 weapon frames. I have actually completed one of the frames inside of an EDZ forge, so I'm not sure if this triumph is bugged, but it seems to be hinting towards a loot table of 2 main weapons and potentially an exotic specific to this forge. So that's certainly pretty interesting, and it gives us a bit of an idea as well as to how the loot may actually roll out for this. We'll talk more about that in just a second, but the first weapon anyone acquired from Black Armory was the machine gun via the machine gun frame quest. Of course, you have to get a bunch of kills. You have to find the weapon core, get double kills and kills on powerful enemies, and then Ada 1 will actually ask you to go into the forge to craft the weapon. However, now that folks have actually crafted this weapon, interestingly, you can see some pretty bizarre symbols that show through the scope of the weapon in the EDZ Forge map. People are currently trying to figure out exactly what this means, but you can see different runes on different surfaces through the scope of the weapon. On top of this, you can also see different icons shown on blank sides of the boxes hidden around inside of the Forge maps. You'll see right here, some of them actually have lines of text, and there are the different symbols, the hand, the butterfly, and so people believe it could be linked to the mysterious box quest that we currently have, but clever folks over on Raid Secrets and things like that are trying to figure this out right now. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Pretty cool that you can see hidden messages and icons through the scope of some of these forge weapons. But in terms of forging new weapons and exactly how it works, currently we have the Volunda Forge available, and there are 2 weapons that we can actually forge there. So we have the machine gun, and on top of this there is an auto rifle frame that you can collect as well. And so looking back to that triumph where there are 3 different weapon frames available for EDZ, that this is actually how these could be locked out. You know, we have 2 legendary weapons available for EDZ, and then maybe the exotic as well, and then there will be different weapons available for different forges. That's the guess right now based on what we're seeing, as opposed to there being kind of a weekly refresh, so these are the 2 weapons available this week. But exactly how that works, we will have to wait and find out. A good shout though, when you actually do complete the forge, any of these frame weapons will be powerful drops, so that definitely helps out. Of course, the first weapon you get as part of the quest to actually access the forge for the first time. To get additional weapon frames, you do have to complete any of the bounties that reward a ballistics log. You can then use that ballistics log to purchase other weapon frames. You can also scroll over to the right, and this is where Ada will have additional mods, as well as mod components, which you can actually buy once you've cleared the forge for the first time. I'll speak more about the forge in just a moment. I did make a video yesterday with a guide to how you can clear the EDZ forge, some stuff about power level as well. But if you're preferring to level up a little bit before you jump into the forge, it's definitely not a bad idea. And a quick shout right here, you can actually cheese one of the Nightfalls this week for some slightly easier rewards. So of course there is the Nightfall run and then the 100k Nightfall run, but inside of the Nocris Nightfall this week, for some reason, if you put the power handicap to the maximum, it doesn't actually affect the handicap for power in the game. So essentially what happens is you have the maximum score multiplier, but it doesn't seem to be working properly and essentially the enemies inside of the Nightfall do not scale to the handicap that you've selected. So essentially you'll be getting a lot of points for killing relatively easy enemies and clearing a normal Nightfall. So if you want to get a very easy 100k, that is something to shout out, and you can set that up with the 5 of Swords, simply increase the handicap to the maximum, and I believe that is the only requirement to actually do this inside of the Nightfall this week. And of course you get the normal Nightfall drop, and then the 100k run Nightfall drop as well. It's also a good shout that we have a lot of the stuff from Forsaken that we could get powerful gear from, and another shout here, the Last Wish raid is still rewarding powerful drops over 600 power. You're not getting huge jumps, but because of how many jumps you can get in one run, if you are a raider, it's definitely worth doing. But this is the title page for the Black Armory title Blacksmith. Now to look at the requirements real quick, you have to forge 100 weapons, complete special bounties for the Black Armory. We've got Black Armory Bounty Hunter, where you need 30 normal 801 bounties. You need to forge all weapon types in the EDZ. There are 2 secret triumphs as well. And then we have Master Blaster, get kills with your ton at Volunda Forge, which is just what we've spoken about. Clean up on Isle 5, which is to get kills with threat level at the Bergerzia Forge, and that's the new shotgun which drops from the raid. Sassy Office reference once again. Kills with the Monarch at the Gofanan Forge. Kills with Izunagi's Burden at the Izanami Forge. And then you need to complete the flawless version of the Scourge of the Past raid. Complete the Each to Their Own challenge. Complete the Hold the Line challenge. The All for One and One for All challenge. Escape in Blazed Glory without losing a single fireteam member. That's for a challenge called Fast and Unwieldy, and you'll need to loot hidden chests in the Scourge of the Past raid 5 times. So a Blazed Glory kind of sounds like one of the encounters potentially, but you will have to complete all of these to get that Blacksmith title. So pretty interesting that it requires a flawless raid run, although it still does require you to complete the badge, and that's where you get the more heavy RNG element. To complete the badge for Black Armory, you essentially have to acquire all of the weapons, all of the armor, the shaders, and emblems associated with each forge. So it's definitely a good grind. Let me know your thoughts about that, guys, down below. But just a quick shout right here. This clip comes from Destiny Explorer. There is a hidden room in the annexed area of the tower. So it's actually near the kind of landing pad. You go up on the left-hand side, up the stairs, then up onto the pipes, and you can actually climb over and drop down into a hidden room. I don't believe anything hidden's been found in here just yet, so it could just be a random curiosity, but an interesting shout out if you didn't know about it already. Next though, we do have a few things about the Dawning which have been revealed, and Jinsa over on Reddit datamined this. So it says the Dawning returns, there's a chill in the air, but our hearts are warm. The Dawning has returned to Destiny, bundle up and head to the Tower Bazaar, where you can begin your holiday journey with old friend Eva Levante. They say that's right, Eva has returned, and she's brought her baking supplies with her. Collect ingredients from enemies all over the system, then use Eva's holiday oven to bake delicious treats for everyone. The Dawning is a season of giving and receiving. Earn a Season of the Forge etched engram and a new Winterdrift engram with every level up past the max level during the Dawning. Bake enough treats and unlock the festive sparrow of all, Dawning Cheer. And for the first time ever, multiplayer emotes. Nothing gets Guardians into the holiday spirit like a perfectly executed high five. And we can see that crazy looking Dawning Sparrow right there. There is actually a blueprint or a kind of mini quest to acquire this. Pick it up from Eva Levante. You need to give Elixir Birdseed to Hawthorne, bake gifts, give Vanilla Blades to Shax, and chocolate chip cookies to Amanda. They actually put chocolate ship cookies to Amanda. And that is how you can get this curious new Sparrow. But they actually show a promo image right here of a fist bump emote, and this is one of the multiplayer emotes that they're talking about. Not exactly sure how all that will work, but I'm sure Bungie will reveal more information soon. Now though, just to give a few impressions and thoughts about the launch of Black Armory. So of course this is a smaller update, we don't have a huge story element, it's really baked around quests, a new activity, and some new rewards. There's been quite a bit of frustration that I've seen in the community over the power level required for the Forge mode. Of course, it's pretty high power, so as we go into the DLC, it's actually a pretty difficult activity to complete. And there are different schools of thought on this. You know, some folks will say absolutely that's how it should be, and we should have that grind to actually get access to these modes. Equally, some people say they don't want to pay for a new piece of content and then have to grind, you know, powerful rewards, things like that for ages before they can actually jump into the new content itself. And I absolutely understand both arguments right here. Personally, what I would have done is attempted to have some kind of lower level version of the Forge, or at least an introductory phase, one that allows you to complete at least one of the weapons, get in there at a more friendly power level, and essentially try and build a little bit of aspiration towards the new mode, you know? Here's your introduction. This one is much more achievable. You can get yourself a nice new weapon, a powerful reward to bump you up and get closer to being able to run the harder forges, and then of course people would be a little bit less frustrated with going and power leveling for a bit, because they'd actually have a bit of a taste of that new content first. Those are just my thoughts on it. You'll have to let me know what you guys think down below. But honestly, I think it's kind of early to really critique this as a new piece of content. We've got a lot of weapons, we do have new modes, new exotic quests and things which will roll out over time, so it's kind of hard to say exactly how good this update is at this moment in time, but I do understand the frustration about being locked out of things like the Forge. However, if you guys do have the time, definitely I recommend try and get a few more power levels before you go into that Forge. If you can get to 606, you'll be in a new power delta, so things will actually start to feel quite a bit easier. If you get above 610, once again, it's going to get even easier again. So while it may be frustrating, I think grinding out a few more powerful drops and things like that will definitely be helpful for this one. But let me know your thoughts on it down below, guys. If you are struggling to jump into the Forge, then I hope you have some luck soon, getting powered up and all that kind of stuff. Within the next day or so, folks will definitely start being able to clear this much more easily. But again, let me know your thoughts down below. Also, let me know your thoughts on that new exotic quest, what you think it actually means. The hidden runes and icons around the map are pretty interesting. Any of your thoughts about the title or the secret stuff we've spoken about in this DLC are super appreciated below. So guys, if you have enjoyed the video, a like rating really helps me out. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with Destiny 2. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in and I hope you have fun with Black Armory. But for now, I will catch you guys very soon.